I'm here if you need me. I'm here. Okay, great. How are we doing? How's the attendance right now?
Good. It's good.
Beautiful.
Hari Om Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I'm just going to pull out a chair here, get to a table. This is a very, very sizable theater. That's what we're dealing with today.
Which theater is this, Maharaj?
Oh, it's in a high school theater in a place called Sault Marie. It's in between. It's right at the beginning of Lake Superior. It's a town or a city of 75,000 people. And we're presenting our Age of Kali drama and kirtan. Some other classical dances are happening, and that'll start in an hour's time. So thank you very much for your patience. And I think we can get started. Hope everyone's enjoying the summer weather. Well, depends on which part of the world you're in. I don't know about Hawaii. Nothing ever changes there. It's always nice, right?
It's always pretty much summer here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And in the Netherlands, well, it is what it is, right? I think it's a nice time of the year there. Okay, great. And we have Shakti Devi Dasiga, I see Bashanta, the usual. Oh, I have Yugala Kishore, thank you. Yugala, are you still in Canada? Or
No, I'm already
You're back
in
Florida?
Alachua.
Okay, great.
Back in Alachua, but I was there 3 weeks.
Geez, did I get... Yeah, we should have done more with you.
Yes.
Listen, do I have your number? I don't even know if
I did call.
I have your number. Good.
Yeah, I did call you and I left a message, so I can call you again. After this class, I'll call you again and leave the message and leave the
don't
number.
call me now.
Yeah, after your presentation.
That'd be great. Yes. Yes, send me an email. Maybe that'd be the best.
Okay.
Okay, great. So Bruce, let's begin. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitya Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pradharine Irvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Satarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Now we'll go on with the page 1, our invocational mantra. Please repeat after me. Om Ajnana Timarandasya.
Om Ajnana Timarandasya.
Jnana Jana Shalakya.
Jnana Shalakaya.
Chakshur Unmilitang Yena.
Chakshuram Militam Yena.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Shri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
My spiritual master opened my eyes.
With the torch of knowledge.
With the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Thank you very much. Okay, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now we're going to chapter 1, verse 1, if I'm not mistaken. I asked everyone just to look at some of the introductions of the Bhagavad Gita, not necessarily that whole text, but a little bit of the background of the Mahabharata and what is behind this great conversation, this dialogue that's about to take place. So I hope I'm not missing anything. Did I ask for anything else, or are we good to go?
Maharaj, last time when we were doing how Bhagavad Gita helped us, Vasanta had been attending this for a longest time, couldn't come. So she would like to say something before we start? Is that okay?
Sure. I feel that's okay. It's a nice
Yeah,
way to
just
start.
take a second,
Yes, by
that's
all
all.
means,
Nothing.
keep it nice, short
So,
and sweet. Yes.
Two things. I want to say two things. One is that, like Vaishnavi said, I realized that you cannot let go of, desires and hatred in this world without attaching yourself to some other world, something else, and that is Bhagavan. Without that, you can never let go of anything. That's one thing. And the second thing I realized is that you really need a guru for, walking you through, no matter, I've read it before, but it has never made an impact, the kind of impact it has made now. Now it seems more real to me rather than a philosophical discussion. So those are the two things I just wanted to say. Hare Krishna.
That is very nice. Thank you for sharing that good stuff with us. And it just makes a nice segue for us to basically move on with our studies and go through an incredible circle. Because some of us started from the beginning, some of us got there in the middle, some of us got 7/8 of the way in, and it doesn't matter. We're fine with all of that. So let us begin then, and start with our first chapter and verse 1. And maybe that can be shared with us on the screen because I'm in a
Yes,
theater.
ma'am.
I've got my hands are full of makeup and costumes and
Yes.
directions.
I have a request for all the participants when we are going
Mhm.
through this. So far, when we are streaming in the YouTube, the title that was going in the YouTube was just Bhagavad Gita 1.1 or Bhagavad Gita 17.8, things like that. Instead, I would like to give a title, but I would like the input from all the participants for that, how they saw that session to be. So please pay attention to the session and come up with the title for each session at the end, so that we can use that in the YouTube title. So that's my request.
Okay. Of course, mostly we're just going verse by verse. Each day we cover one verse, and that's about it. Does that make a difference for what you're proposing?
No,
Vaishnavi?
even how that affected them. Is it are they taking home? Is that verse helping them with the relationship problem, or is that verse helping them with the growing spiritual, something like that? How that affected them, we can write as a title, one of that as a title in the.
Or you want to establish a theme for the day? Is that what you're saying?
Would be nice, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's give it a shot. I'll leave it up to you, peruse, to figure that out. No problem. Anything that's going to help us, conditioned souls like us, progress. So we got a suggestion here, Dhanraj. Okay, I sort of missed it there, but you peruse can discuss it amongst yourself. Audible.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So we'll proceed then. Thank you so much. And let's see. Are you sharing the screen? Are you, Mataji?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Mm. Okay, so here we are. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetri Kurukshetri Samavita Yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akuravata Sanjaya. And then we'll go to the verse, the translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Okay, and we'll read this as a healthy purport. We'll get some volunteers to read.
Okay, Dhanraj, you can start with that, and Shakti Devi can read some, and Arjuna can read, then Mansi Ganga and Namacharya.
Okay, great. Yeah, I did suggest, there was a mention there from Rabindra Swarup, we need observing the armies. I did ask if everyone could look at that before we come together, so I'm hoping devotees may have done that. Let's continue then with the purport, and let's move along. Hare Krishna.
Purport. Bhagavad Gita is a widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world.
Thank you very much. Next.
One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy.
Thank you. That's good. Yeah, let's move along. Next person.
It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind.
That's
The
good
world.
enough. That's nice.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes. We'll go to the next person. Sure.
The word Dharmakshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battle of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? He was confident.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Next.
He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjaya,
Thank you. That's great. That's great. Next.
Ravindra Swarupu.
Sanjaya was a student of Vyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasa, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so, Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belong to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately
Thank you.
claimed.
Thank you very much. Next person.
He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants, Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthira would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, apart from their historical and Vedic importance.
Thank you very much, Guy. All the readers and all the listeners, 1-1 from Bhagavad Gita as it is, okay? We'll just stay focused on the verse, if I may. I just don't have a copy with me, so your screen sharing is helping me a bit, okay? Okay, so Bhagavad Gita opens up with the words from a king of the Vedic era, Dhritarashtra. It's not Krishna and it's not Arjuna. It actually is like a beautiful opening for this great text. Opens up with a question, and it's always good to start with a question. It gets people thinking. And basically he's asking what's happening with my sons. And less important to him is what's happening with the sons, but my nephews, basically, the sons of Pandu. And his query is going to Sanjay, his secretary, who became empowered by Vyasadeva to be able to have like a mystic vision. Although far away, he was able to penetrate and see all the optics of what was going on somewhere north of where they were seated at, which is in the area of Delhi, what's current day Delhi. Devaprastha, well, no, it's not Devaprastha, but yeah, basically Delhi, and which was known as Hastinapur, that basic area. Hastinapur means the place of Hastis, elephants, and Prabhupada was joking about it. He said, that area is not Hastinapur anymore, it's motor carpur. So that's what you have there. The question is, he was the king who was blind, not being able to see. Even if he was able to see, he didn't get blessed by Vyasadeva to see what was going on north of him. But he asked the question from Sanjay, who was empowered, and really what's going on. There's that anxiousness in the tone of the voice of Dhritarashtra, because he knows, a little bit about Vedic culture. There is some piety in him, maybe not transcendence at this point, but piety in him, in his character. He's a little concerned at Kurukshetra, where lots of pilgrimages have taken place, lots of yagyas have been executed, that is sacrifices. He's wondering what's happening right now. In his heart, he was feeling that his son, headed by 100 sons, headed by Duryodhana, who was a little bit on the greedy side, what might be in trouble karmically. And so he's asking, really, tell me in some detail what's going on. Another thing is that the outcome of the war was such that, the grand man here himself, Dhritarashtra, probably would have fainted, he wouldn't be able to bear the pain to see the loss on the side of his sons. Okay, Prabhupada does mention in the purport something about unwanted plants like weeds. They need to be uprooted. And so he's referring to the Kauravas, who were adharmic by nature. They were not up to good, you can say. And so a man believing in karma, I guess, has some kind of sophistication to his life. The average person that you meet on the street may believe in karma. Well, that's good. If that is the case, then people will be a little more careful about what they do or what they say. But since we all have loose tongues and loose actions, we're all like loosey-gooseys. We end up doing a lot of things that we will end up paying for in the end. Now, so what's going on? This is like live television. And a lot of people have spoken about this before, this mystical power that Sanjay is. It looks like, he's seeing the broadcast live as what's going on at the moment is being now transmitted. The details are being given to Dhritarashtra. So the technology was very high at that time, at Krishna's time. I think somewhere along the line, people lost a grip on it because Kali Yuga has that nature, that tendency to be very confused, as well as, let's say, not very advanced on all levels. So, and if that's a little bit of a background, we are looking at some tension here. It's felt by the questioning that's coming from Dhritarashtra. Good. So we'll make it open for your questions or your discussions and reflections, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I have a question. So when Yudhishthira was then, after the battle was over, was established as a new king, had Kali Yuga already started, or was it still Dwapara Yuga?
Well, students of the Bhakti tradition know well that there are some details given in the Bhagavatam, the first canto, which is a follow-up on the Bhagavad Gita. There's some real nice imagery that you can read about there, such as the cows don't give milk, they're dry, that the bulls are no longer running, in a frivolous way. There's just a lot of inauspicious items that are going, ill omens that are presented in the first canto of the Bhagavatam. But you can see that there are, because of this war, and it seems that the Kali Yuga ends with this war, it becomes very obvious that major points of Kali Yuga have now set in. But what's good about it is that Krishna has come to give his message at the tail end of Dwapara Yuga. And his purpose was for let's say, to see that Dharma will be preserved. Krishna comes with 3 reasons. That comes in chapter 4, Bhagavad Gita. He says he comes to deliver the pious, to subdue the miscreants, and then finally to establish peace and Dharma. So when the Kaurava dynasty, that clan, fell, were defeated, and then the Pandavas ruled with Yudhishthira at its head, even though Kali Yuga was making its appearances, we still have some remnants of that former age, which is Dwapara Yuga. I don't know if this really answers your question, but it's if you can say it's a clean cut situation. Dwapara ends, Kali Yuga begins at such and such a date. It seems that there are, with the discord, with the family breakup, the dissolution of the Pandava family being divided like this. That's clearly signs that things are not doing very well. It's like the winter is really sort of, the winter season is coming on, and we're ready to see a storm. But I hope that's satisfactory enough as an explanation.
Yes, thank you. So when Kali Yuga is coming, it's supposed to come right after Dwapara Yuga, so one cannot really stop it. Even though Krishna has made sure that Yudhishthira Maharaj was established and he was like a Dwapara Yuga person, one can say maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
you can.
But Kali Yuga is a must. It has to come because the cycles go on. So certain living entities come in Kali Yuga, they can play out their karma, Kali Yuga karma, on this earth. So it's not really possible to stop that. Right?
No, it is a little bit like the weather. It is like the seasons. And it's really hard to say. Like we try to be really neat about it and say, okay, winter starts at the 21st of December, at the winter solstice. But it might be a nice, beautiful day. It could be like almost tropical. The birds are still out and the squirrels are out. So it's really hard to, kind of like draw a line and say, this is where it ends, this yuga, another one begins. There's a little bit of an overlap here. Elements of Satya Yuga are still going to be there to some degree at the dawn of Kali Yuga. And there's definitely going to be a lot traces of the bad age. So when seasons change, like I'll be honest with you, I think I might have mentioned to this group, our June here in Canada was like January. It was just like on the bitter cold side. And then more recently, it's just that the temperatures jacked up. It just went way sky high. And then just within the last 24 hours, it sort of plummeted again. That's kind of the way it is. So I would just, I think it's safe to say that just to give a round figure as to when one season ends and another one begins, but it's never very clear cut. Same thing with Kali Yuga. And there's some nice bright times. Actually, I can remember when the former Pope, not the German one, but the Polish Pope came to Toronto. There was such a nice, like all the newspapers had only nice things to say. There was a calmness in the air, and it was, quite beautiful. I also remember September the 11th when it happened, 9/11. The day just before that, I'm saying, well, everything's so peaceful. Why is that? September is generally a nice month where we are. Everything's quite calm and peaceful. Why isn't there anything happening? There was this September the 10th. I asked myself this right in front of, just a few steps north of our temple. And then bang, 9/11 slammed in and just made a mess, absolute mess. So you never know what's going to come in Kali Yuga. It's unpredictable. Perhaps in other ages it was more predictable. Yeah, but there's some great dramas that happen in all the ages. Like even Satya Yuga, there was a whole episode of Narasingha, that avatar. and the dynamics of Hiranyakashipu was not a nice man, dictatorial by nature. We have just, let's put it this way. It doesn't matter where you look at, where you are, as long as you're in the material world. Abrama bhuvana loka punar avaratino origina. These are Krishna's words in the Gita. And he says, from the highest planet to the lowest planet, all are places of misery where there's repeated birth and death. So don't ever expect heaven, even in such a yuga. The first age of piety, even there's trouble there. Good. Anybody else have some thoughts? Okay, we have Haripad. He's waving his hand. He really wants attention.
No, Maharaj, Hare Krishna devotees, my humble obeisances, Maharaj, at your lotus feet. I have a question. So, Maharaj, it looks like even present day, if you take Russia, Ukraine, Israel, and the Arabs, and, so many examples, it's always about, land, about control, about resources, or about this country did that to us, so we have to get back at them. So what is the solution? And it seems like it's the same thing between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So what would be a way, Maharaj, to kind of put an end to this? Have you thought about it? Like, if you could control everybody, or if all the leaders of all the presidents listen to you, which I would like very much, how would you? How is there a solution to this?
Well, the Kali Yuga is, I'm not anybody special or influential, but let's just go by Shastras as it is and what our teachers have taught us. That in Kali Yuga, it's a time of war, and we live in Martiloka, a place of death. So the only thing that really seems to be working accurately is when we do yajna, sacrifice. Sacrifice means giving up, a surrender. And in this day and age, it means instead of putting so much time and energy into your self-attention, give some time to the world attention. And that is executed by the Kirtan, the Sankirtan movement, people coming together. Like we had a show yesterday in the city of Sudbury, the place where I first met devotees. And, it was interesting. We'd had different cultural elements. We did a play. There was some Middle Eastern dance and Odissi dance, all kinds of things like that. But in the end, what happened was we all came together, all the participants, including the artists from different backgrounds. We all got together and chanted Krishna's name. And my revelation is this, that I think this is really the solution. Let's all kind of love one another. Let's try to get off the bodily platform. What makes everybody happy is song and dance. And, that activating yourself on that level. It's purely Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalona Steva Tiranyata. For this present age, this is what we require. This is what's going to help solve the problems. And when Prabhupada was in Chicago back in 1975, I believe, he was speaking to police officer, Lieutenant Mozzie was his name, I still remember. And Prabhupada was suggesting that to address the drug problem and the sex problem and this and that, he suggested, let's go into the big hall and please provide some big assembly places for us. And we will have kirtan, there will be drumming, there will be singing, there will be dancing, there will be some prasadam. And, and he was implying that if somebody gets a little tired, let them have a nap on the side and then get up again. Continue on with the clean party. I don't think there's any other way, any other solution. And this doesn't require a major financial input either. It just requires some space and a willingness to for us all to be very inclusive and like that. That's the solution, wouldn't you say? Kirtan, sing Kirtan Yagya. According to the Shastras, that's what's supposed to do it for us.
Yes, Maharaj, I think this is a very good solution, what you're providing. And in fact, like in Texas, for example, they're saying that all the public schools should display the 10 Commandments. And at first I thought, oh, why should we look at that? It's not from the our scriptures. Then I thought about it some more. I said, no, it's okay. There was some of the principles may not be directly relevant, or they may not even be following the principles. The people who purportedly, display them and supposedly follow them. But I said, okay, it's a good thing. We're turning towards something godlike. So yeah, I think what you're saying is very good, and it's very sad. What each time I look at the news, which I try to avoid, it's very sad situation. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, yeah, it's good to go to a situation which is in educational systems, especially to be God-centered. That's very good. It depends on people's interpretations. I think there's one of the commandments, if you talk about the 10 commandments, one should not worship strange gods. And well, people start to imitate that. Well, Krishna's strange, but not to us. I think we can agree. If you go down the list, I think we'll be okay with most of the stuff. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wealth. Don't steal. In other words, don't steal, don't covet thy neighbor's wife. Stick to your own family. These are all good things. Don't steal, don't kill, etc. I can't even remember them all, but all the thou shalts. But most of it's very good and very applicable to our situation. I wish they could add a few more in there. It's just don't drink, don't smoke, all those good things. But that's pretty hard to tell. Some people are really addicted to these things.
Arjuna has a question, Maharaj.
Arjun?
Oh, Hare Krishna. I was gonna say on the topic of like being in Kali Yuga, that I was listening to the Bhagavatam, and Indra, being in the heavenly planets, he had to spend over 1 year killing Vitrasura with the thunderbolt, cutting his head off. But even after he did, like the personification of bad, like the sin came out like a older woman with like a whole bunch of like disease trying to hug him. So he had to hide. And this is Indra, being a heavenly planet. So he had to give up his position. So, Prabhupada said that we don't want to go to the heavenly planets because even there, it's a problem.
Oh, yes. Your point is, doesn't matter where in the world we are, even the heavenly planets, there's going to be some challenges, difficulties. Good. Anybody else? Or he was a great deep thinker. Do you have any comments? Go ahead.
Let me share.
Maharaj, can you hear me?
I can.
Maharaj, given the fact that we know the faults Kali Yuga carries, the hypocrisy, the constant quarreling. At the time that opening the Bhagavad Gita, there is a major quarrel among the Kurus. But Prabhupada came with the idea of 10,000 years period of time in which the Krishna consciousness movement, even though within Kali Yuga, Prabhupada had some kind of vision that we are going to turn the tide some other direction. How can we reconcile that?
So when you say reconciliation, can you be a little more specific? 10,000 years within the Kali Yuga will be a bright period and the rest will be dark. That's what you're bringing up, right?
Yeah, we know Kali Yuga is pretty bad. We have plenty of experience ourselves, but are we a panacea type of movement for those 10,000 years? And should we I mean, we are not just liberating ourselves individually,
Mhm.
but Prabhupada had this vision that the movement itself was going to offer liberation to, so many generations down the road, for at least 10,000 years. So I was wondering, given the fact that we've been exchanging ideas about how bad this age is, and how, we just got to get out of here somehow, by hook or by crook. But then how we put that into the perspective of the 10,000 years mission of ISKCON.
Well, I'm hoping I'm addressing your point. Yeah, but the Kali Yuga has begun at the tail end of this Dwapara Yuga. 10,000 years, the starting point of this is somewhere by Chaitanya's time, his era. And so we would be looking forward to enjoying some of this bright time within the darkness of Kali Yuga. The brightness meaning the chanting and so on like that. A lifestyle of relative, joy and happiness and feeling complete and full. All that's going to happen to us. My thought on this is that, well, there's so much discord going on in the world right now. There's just so much that we can say that is like things are just dismantling at a very rapid rate. You may wonder, do we see elements of this 10,000 years is supposed to be a golden period? And all I can think of is that, hey, if we didn't have Mahaprabhu's movement, how much worse it would be.
Right.
How much darker it would be, it would be unimaginable what it would be like in the absence of the Sankirtan movement. That's what, happy to be part of it, lucky, fortunate to be a participant in this great movement, this great epoch within the broad Kali Yuga.
Right. Yeah, that's my take as well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How much worse it would be if we didn't have the Mahamantra, we didn't have Prashadam and so on like that.
Right.
I thought about it very deeply today. I mean, we were on a lot of travels, and I was going through some of the little towns that are on the north shore of Georgian Bay, and there's places up for sale. And then you look at some of the people downtown, you wonder, oh my God, it's just not like when I was a kid. We were part of the baby boomer era. But then you think about my parents' generation, they went through a horrible war. So I guess we're going to get a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Right.
But I think, how do we address it? I think that, we just need to embrace the process of what Mahaprabhu has given us and what has been predicted by many great teachers, not just in our lineage. Everybody talks about the name of God being that special feature of life. So we put a little more emphasis on it than maybe some other communities do. But let's look after yourself first, make yourself strong as a devotee in devotional service, and then you can affect other people's lives positively.
Yep. Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai. Anybody else have some thoughts here on this topic of the first verse, chapter 1?
Arjuna again.
Okay,
Arjun?
so I was going through like a really hard time a while ago back, and I said, why do you want to be born in this age? And then a proper cyber, like really serious, told me, cause you get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So he said even the demigods want to come just because they get the mercy.
Yeah, so looking at the bright side of things, it is not a bad time to be here in this world, despite all the difficulties that exist that we're hearing about on a regular basis. I personally feel if people could just switch off this sort of pejorative attitude that's very, seems to be quite pervasive, and just become a little bit optimistic and see what are the good things that are going on. I mean, I spoke to one devotee today, and he was pointing out the fault, what he felt was weak spots in another Vaishnava. I said, yeah, that might be true, but do let us let's put the spotlight on all the positive things that that person is doing. So if we could change the attitude of the world a little bit, that'd be great. That'd really be nice. Be optimistic. I think it's it's a big sin to be cynical. We discussed that before. Cynicism is like a pervasive attitude that's like a toxic element, poison that's just lingers and just kind of like just has permeated through everything. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts that devotees may have? Hands up.
I was just going to say, I think there's also some signs of optimism, like there's more vegetarianism in the world in general, and I think people are turning a little bit more to the spiritual topics and spiritual thoughts, I think, than perhaps a while ago. So, and if you contrast that with the Bhagavatam's description of how it is at the end of Kali Yuga, where topics on God don't even exist, like people aren't even talking about God. And, so maybe that's another way to look at the, golden age thing, is that it could be a lot worse. And there's some positive things, even though there's wars and all this,
Good. Contribution. My thoughts are, and at least in the West, there's a lot of people who have taken to, let's say, put behind them the traditional bacon and eggs kind of culture, and burgers and all that, and taken to a vegetarian or vegan diet. On the other hand, in some places in the world, which were more traditionally vegetarian, they're saying, oh, let's go Western. Let's be a little bit like let's be American. And then they start to break loose of their other vows. And, so, well, in one part of the world, it seems to be working like what you're saying, directions, New Age. Another part of the world, directions are, let's be part of the pop culture, and we'll see what happens there. All right, we've got Shakti, and we've got Shakti. Please let us know what's on your mind.
I think I'm kind of a little bit piggybacking off what you were saying. I was thinking what you were kind of saying, but like Radhanath Swami, and he has won so many awards, him and Gauranga Das, and many others have brought all of these beautiful things forward and have offered, vegetarianism, offered recycling, offered, going into the villages and helping out the people. And I think that, there's always going to be things that are going to be out of our control, right? Like these other things that we're talking about, like, honestly, there's nothing that I can really do about it. But what I can do is I can preach Krishna consciousness. I can, give to others. I can serve as much as I can. So I can make other people's lives better, and I can, and reach out and try and help others and like that. I mean, there's always, I think there's always, I mean, Kali Yuga maybe especially has really that the devil is in the details here, but I think that we have, we don't have to, but I guess I'm choosing to really look at the really beautiful side of things and see what's bright in all of this, like Maharaj's dramas. So, I mean, right? Like that could be something, I'm not going to do the dramas, or there's too many of this, too many of that. No, you do, and you sing in the kirtan, and you celebrate all of the things that you can celebrate. And I think that's maybe a good way maybe to not forget that, but not look past it, but look past the things that you can't control, that are not in your control.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we do need to promote as much Krishna consciousness as we can through the different avenues, for sure. Well, let's try to infiltrate as much as we can. Prabhupada's idea was to be like an octopus, you know. I mean, you just get your tentacles out everywhere, with the BA, or I'm sorry, the Bhaktivedanta Institute, the BI, and the BA, which is Bhaktivedanta Bhakti Academy. That was during Prabhupada's time, but we're talking about training young people, letting them have a break from the material world. The kirtans, of course, the revolutionary food that we turn out of our temples and restaurants. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And one of the best things that we can do to help the world to be better places, just show by actions, that becomes a source of inspiration for some people. Yeah, it really does. When they see that a group of people are together, they're nice. We had driven through Mennonite country, and obviously they just do they do eat meat, that's granted, but I mean, there's a lot, they have a lot going for them, that community. They're very God-centered. They grow the best food. They're very really into the family. All those high values are something that they experience amongst themselves. So yeah, there are good things going on. There are a lot of good people for sure. What I'd like to do is just kind of wind it up soon, because our show is about kids. Takeaways from this are first of this, let's say, cycle of studying the Gita. And I would ask Vaishnavi if she could just help steer this part, and we'll try to wrap it up in 3 minutes amongst all of us if we can. All right?
Yes, Maharaj. Okay, so go to Premadas.
Yes. My takeaway is be careful with what you do and what you say.
Be careful. Okay. And are you giving yourself 6 or 7 or 8 words? What? Okay. Try to make it a little more precise, concise. Yeah, concise.
Arjuna.
Okay.
Worship Guru and Goranga.
Okay. All right.
Haripad.
Read Bhagavad Gita in the spirit of the presenter.
Okay. Krishna. You mean Krishna?
Yes, Krishna.
Okay. All right.
Yamana Dasi. Mansi Ganga.
Sankirtan is the solution of age of Kali.
I missed that. Could you say that again slowly?
Sankirtan is the solution for the age of Kali.
Kirtan solution, Kali Yuga. All right.
Guy Gaura Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Vedic education important.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Wonderful.
Everything Krishna.
Everything is Krishna. Okay. All right.
Purna Chandra Devidas.
Keep Krishna in the center.
Okay. In center. All right.
Yugalakeshwar Prabhu.
God is great.
Nice. Okay. Bravo. Yeah, we're down to 3 words for some of you.
Navayavana Dasi. Nina. I think she forgot her name.
No, I just changed my name on the Zoom now. I just changed it. I went online and did it.
I
So
see.
next time
Okay,
you'll see my real name now.
Okay, all right.
So
she
my
meant to use her name.
yeah. my takeaway for this verse is like it's total attachment, correct? So my takeaway is like attachment clouds judgment. Yeah, attachment clouds judgment. Yeah,
Sure.
that's my
Very
takeaway.
good.
Yes.
Very good observation.
Yeah.
Ravindra Swarup Prabhu.
Sankirtan is the solution.
Sankirtan is the solution. Yeah, you're right on track.
Danraj?
Offer everything to Krishna.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Sankalpa?
Devotees are the saving grace.
It's our saving grace.
Shakti? Devi?
Kirtan in the age of Kali.
Vasanta?
My verse is Dhritarashtra's guilt makes him nervous.
Nitai Priya?
Cynicism is a sin.
Nice.
Namacharya?
Empowerment gives vision.
Yes, thank you.
Gurudas? Guru, did you say?
Do some weeding.
Very good. Very good.
I think we've exhausted everyone.
Covered. Yeah, we had a lot of threes in there today. Wow, nice. Cutting down a little bit. Thank you very much. So I'm going to get off to our show. I appreciate it very much, and things should be right on track next week as well. So thank you, and please accept my humble obeisances.
All glories to you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us.
Yeah, thank you,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi Mataji. Thank you all, Prabhuji.
Have a great one,
Krishna.
everybody.
Thank you,
so much.
devotees. Take care, everybody. Be
Hare
safe.
Krishna.
Can you be
Hare
here?
Krishna.